Hi, this is Eve Starr Malay, Eve Starr Fiber Arts, up here giving you some quick tips on blocking a shawl. I've done it many times, and while I was doing it, I started realizing that there are some ways it could go wrong and some things you could overthink. So I'm just going to share some tips with you. Now this shawl is full size, so I'm going to back up. My foam tiles completely cover my kitchen table, so there wasn't quite room, which would be fine because I have a lot more of these tiles. And when I put it on the floor of my craft room, I'll add the extra tiles and just pin those corners. Now, these tiles are a lot thicker than what you can usually find. I would not go to like a Knit Picks or whatever. They only give you about 10 tiles, and they're only like half this thick. This is like 3/4 of an inch thick, which is great. They're really sturdy. I've had them for years, and they were a terrific price. I got them from a place online called Softile, Softile, one word. And I think they were like $1.50 a piece or less. And you just pay that shipping one time, like $8 or $9 a few years ago. I don't know what it is now, probably more. But these are definitely better to work with. Now, what I use, most people do, are T-pins. And you don't have to. If you don't have them, you can use your own pins as long as they don't rust. Now this is the smaller size here, and it's also a smaller shaft, it's finer. And here's the bigger one. So you can see that's a pretty big difference. And if you were doing like a delicate knit lace shawl, I would definitely stick to these smaller ones, or even some super fine like flat flower head pins with the thin shafts, because this punches a hole. Now when you're blocking, you completely soak the item. This is 100% cotton. This is Scheepjes Whirl. And completely soak it. And believe me, it dries a little bit faster than you might think, especially a big one. So when I wash it in the sink and I squeeze the water out and roll it up in a towel and stand on it, I don't repeat the process over and over like I normally would for something I want to dry quickly. I want a little bit of downtime so that I can adjust and have time before it completely dries. Now this one too has a lot of straight lines. You can see that. I love that lace there. That is so cool. That's just like an almost Asian modern lace. Then we've got these little balloon kind of things, and then we've got hearts. Now they're cooperating pretty well. They're open and they're not fighting with me. Sometimes when you knit something, it's really stretchy. And if the yarn is stretchy or your stitch was, you kind of have to pull it harder to open it up. But this wasn't really a problem. And I don't want it to lose the bounce, because 100% cotton yarn can really have no stretch. And this is going to want to stretch anyway because it's good sized. So I'm not yanking it and pulling it really hard to open everything up, because I would lose any kind of bounce, which I find really is very comfortable to wear. You could stretch it in a lot of different shapes that way. Now, I'm probably going to put this one in the shop because I don't usually use shawls this large for me because of where I live. I live in almost to Missouri, in the northern Ozarks of Arkansas. And so I don't usually need something this large, but I really enjoyed making it and designed this border. It's a very dark grape color, it's probably not reading. Now, one tip I can give you is when you're putting pins in. Now, some people would use blocking wires for this, by the way, which is a long metal wire. It's kind of flexible, and you would run it through all your points of your edging or a straight line, and then just pin the blocking wire down. And even though I have some, I usually don't use them because I really like the control of moving things around and as it's drying to move one point a little bit. But a tip I'm going to give you is don't push them all the way through for several reasons. One, the pins, I mean. Because you could scratch up your table, your floor. If you're doing it on the bed, it's hard to slide and move it. What I will do is my husband will take one end, this lightweight design board. We'll take it into my craft room and put it on the floor. Because of my MS, I cannot sit on the floor for any long period of time. So I'll just lower my rolling chair I'm in and get those corners pinned. But I will show this to you when I'm done. And like I said, if you have something that you want to pin out a lot of corners and curves, you can use your straight pins too. So me and my little sea urchin pin cushion say, see y'all soon.